Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko, and I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about courage, leadership, and resilience. Joined today by my wife and co-host, Jenna.
Hi.
Remember to introduce you that time.
Yeah, good job. Doing great.
In my defense, when I do the shorter ones and it's just me, I don't have to introduce anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to remember which one I'm doing.
Yeah, that's very difficult when I'm not sitting here to remember which one you're
for sure
doing.
So in today's podcast, we're going to talk about fitness and, why it helps and, all of that. But we did take part in an activity with the kids, which is kind of a sport. Would you consider bowling a sport?
No. Ooh, sorry.
More of an activity.
Please don't come at me on that one.
The bowling, the bowling group, then you're probably safe.
Yeah. But no, I don't consider it a sport.
More of an activity. I mean, if you can drink beer and do it at the same time, that's probably not a sport.
I don't know. They have cornhole. Isn't that
on ESPN?
Yeah.
Bowling.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with you. Bowling's not a sport.
Sorry, everyone.
The three, the three bowlers of our dozens of listeners.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we took the kids bowling, and you want to tell them the deal we made them?
Well, yeah, because it's spring break, and we were trying to figure out things to do, and they enjoy bowling for some reason. So, which is like really expensive, by the way. Did not realize that it would cost us $100 to take 3 kids bowling.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. So anyways, the deal was if anybody got 100 or above, that we would take them for ice cream. And our son Max got a 99. His last bowl, he was at 98.
And he was a little cocky at 98.
He was cocky because he just had to get 2 pins down, and he out of all the pins, and there's 10, right? Yeah. 10 pins, only hit 1. That was his last.
Yeah. It was almost a gutter ball, and it just nicked that one, and he got 99.
And he literally sat on the floor and could not
look defeated.
Yeah. Couldn't believe it. And then we took them for ice cream because I'm a liar.
Yeah. Well, we messed with them a little bit first. He's like, we got ice cream. I'm like, no, ice cream's not for losers.
We don't take losers to ice cream. We're going to get hit up for being bad parents because we call their kids losers.
Listen, if you don't mess with your kids occasionally, there's either something wrong with you or you're lying about that, because that's one of the fun parts of having teenagers and tweens or whatever you want to call them, is messing with them. Kate and I's 90% of our relationship is messing with each other.
Yeah.
So, but no, that was fun. Yeah, but we did because we're not monsters. We got them ice cream.
Suckers.
And we even told them, okay, you guys can get a small, and they didn't. They got like the concretes or whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nielsen's ice cream in Las Vegas, or Nielsen's frozen custard in Las Vegas, by the way.
Yeah,
not a sponsor, but
also thanks for not having small offerings.
Well, they did have a small. We just didn't allow. They just wanted the concretes. But anyway, I do love Nielsen's. So
let's on that note talk about fitness
custard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to. So this podcast, we're going to talk about fitness and why it's important for first responders, but outside of that, just pretty much anybody. Mm-hmm. And maybe some of the benefits and our journeys with it, and kind of.
I just don't want it to be. I mean, you can get so much of this content on the internet, so we just kind of wanted to talk about why we think it's important. Not inundate you with like medical facts or anything, but just from both of we both have very different journeys with it. I'm still on one. So, why don't you talk about your fitness journey?
We'll start with our fitness. Yeah. So I was a skinny kid. Like I was tiny. I'm 6'2" right now, 225, 230. Mm-hmm. But I was like in high school, I was short. Like I didn't grow until like my senior year. When I went to the police academy, I weighed 158 pounds. And I remember that because I had part of my fitness journey. It was I had a professional boxing match. And I say professional, but it was like the Tough Man, which used to be on FX. And I fought in that, and I weighed in at 157. And there was only 2 weight classes. Guy I fought was like 200 pounds. It was not safe.
Yeah.
But different times. But yeah, I was really, really skinny. I was boxing, and the thing is I always wanted to be big, right? When you're skinny, when you're growing up skinny. I was a runt to my family. My brother was 6'4", my dad was 6'4". Like, both of them were just like big, not fat or anything, just big. And I got more on my mom's side of the genes, as I was just always skinny. And so I always wanted to, like, get big, but I didn't know how. Like, my dad was naturally big. I go to the gym with him, and I remember he was, I was like, okay, well, how do I build my back? And he's like, oh yeah, military press. I'm like, that's shoulders, I think. And this was pre-internet really for that kind of stuff. Like, and he's like, no, that's your back. So he was just big and muscular and didn't really have to, it was a lot of genetics for it. And so I always wanted to be big, and I never really knew how. And, so it just kind of progressed as I got older. When I went to K9 the first time, I was probably 165, just so skinny. I mean, you've seen pictures of me then. And I did this. There's a book called Super Squats, and it's like a Widowmaker. It's one set of 20 squats 3 days a week, and you increase by like 2.5 or 5 pounds a workout. And you have to drink with that a gallon of whole milk a day.
But you tell me this, and I can't think of anything worse, because the show Jackass was on around this time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing that on Jackass because a bunch of idiot boys in my high school were trying to recreate all the stunts they do on Jackass. And I was there one time when they were all trying to drink a gallon of milk, and then they're all puking.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't at one time.
I know, but that's what it makes me think of.
And I put on weight, and I had such a fast metabolism. I didn't gain a lot of fat doing it, but if I did it now, I'd be a big boy. But so, so I did that. And then when I promoted to sergeant, I got really like serious about it and pushed almost to like 200 pounds. And I was kind of stuck there. I'd switch. I'd do like, okay, I'm doing like bodybuilding to get big. And then, okay, now I'm doing powerlifting to get strong, and then go back. And I mean, I don't hate any part. I even had my CrossFit phase for about 1.5 years. It was when I was in K9 as a sergeant. I'd get off work and I'd go to a CrossFit class at 5 a.m. And every time they had to do the partner carries, I just grab my dog out of the car and run with him. I mean, the ladies loved it.
I'm sure.
But yeah, I had that phase, and then I got into jujitsu, and pretty much everything after that was kind of to support that. Mm-hmm. So it was just, now I'm, mid 40s, and yeah, I'm probably the size I want to be. The thing is I used to always blame it. Oh, I'm a hard gainer, or, I'm fast metabolism. No, I just didn't eat. I just didn't have an appetite. I didn't know how to eat. Mm-hmm. And the most I ever gained was doing a gallon of milk, but that was forcing me to have protein and carbs and all that, just a whole lot of other stuff I didn't need.
So so that's kind of your journey with fitness, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think positively and negatively that journey has given you? And then let's talk about why you think that journey was important for your career in policing.
Yeah, I mean, the positives is I gained confidence when I got bigger, like, and got more fit. And I think there's a perception when you see somebody that's fit, like that they are, they're dedicated and have discipline and all of that. And sometimes that's true and sometimes that's not. But there's a confidence that comes with that fitness. I always had very physical jobs, canine and working a dog and doing all these things, even patrol, that it helped to be stronger. And I always focused on cardio to a point. Like, I want to make sure I had that too. I didn't want to just, build muscle, but I think the positives were really the confidence and the strength and the physical abilities. And then especially paired with jujitsu, like, they always say, technique beats strength in jujitsu. But if you have technique and you're strong, that's the sweet spot. So it helped with that. And then those two things played into, again, that confidence and, just my abilities as, when you're in shape and also you train, like I didn't have to hurt people generally as a cop. Somebody wants to fight and they don't train, and because not only, like I said, I had the abilities, but I was also strong. And there's something about being bigger when you show up. People just don't want to fight, right? There's just that part of it too.
Well, you also were able to run after people if you needed to, and I think that's one thing for me, especially with policing, is like if I'm as a civilian and I'm attending an event, or I'm, in a bad part of town and I see police, they're, I hate to say it, but their physical appearance does matter to me, because if I see somebody that's overweight, I immediately go to, well, if I was robbed and like the guy snatched my purse and started running, could this guy go? No, probably not, and, or if I'm at an event, it just, the knowing somebody is physically fit that is in charge of my safety makes a difference to me as a civilian. And I know there are police departments that require yearly physical fitness tests. I wish all police departments would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do too.
Yeah.
And because as a cop, I'm in a fight, I always wanted to know my partner would, or, whoever showed up would be able to help me out. And so most of the time my partner was a dog and I knew he could help me out. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think there should be fitness standards and tests and yearly tests. And, like, I think the military does that. So I definitely should be in policing. So yeah, I mean, the benefits that definitely was one, the confidence, just the health benefits on top of it. And it does help your mental health. I went through some phases where I leaned into it too much because I was avoiding, the hard things that were happening in my life. But overall, like it does help. It helps with building resilience and
I can tell a difference with you. If you haven't worked out in a bit, you're usually in, I wouldn't say a bad mood, but you're just like not in a great mood.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's, for most people, maybe all, I don't know, helps it does help your mood.
Yeah. I've never got done with the workout and been, oh, I'm sorry I did that. Went into plenty of workouts. I don't want to do this. But when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit of pride accomplished, especially the ones that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
As far as the negatives, like, I mean,
you mentioned one.
Yeah, I was using it as an escape. Mm-hmm. I would say,
which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
As an escape, and I think too as like a punishment. Mm-hmm. And that goes for both men and women. I think it's used as a punishment for either emotional crap that you're not dealing with, or the way that you're eating. Mm-hmm. And, if you went too hard in the paint over the weekend, then you punish yourself with a really hard workout on Monday. Like, I think that is used on both sides of the aisle for punishment, which is not healthy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was one negative for you.
That was, yeah, I did. I used to do that all the time. Mm-hmm. Or use it as an escape, or use it, like I said, to punish myself or whatever. But, and then, another one was for me, I'd still, to the point, I'm 220 pounds. I'm like, oh, I look skinny. I think, they say, especially for men, that, once you start working out, you're going to feel smaller than you've ever been, or the smallest you're ever going to be, or whatever it is. Like, you just, it messes with you. That body dysmorphia is real. Right. And, or if I miss like a week, I'm like, oh, I feel soft, which that's not how that works. So like a little bit, I mean, you don't have a pump and you get a little like, but it's not like you're losing muscle or gaining fat. Not a doctor, by the way. But I think that, that it does, it almost becomes addicting to have those results and all of that. But overall positive, overall positive. And, listen, everybody, there's this, push, you should be working out for yourself and it's only for you and not what other people think. Okay, you know what? Well, though, when I'm out in public and somebody says you have nice arms, I love that feeling. I'm sorry. I don't know. This isn't a fitness podcast. I probably shouldn't say that, but I was like, yes, thank you. I worked really hard to do that.
Uh-huh.
Listen, we all have a little, there's nothing wrong with being truthful about it.
Totally.
It's not like I'm like, I am working out for myself. Not
You are.
you. I am. That's a big part of it. The confidence and the health benefits and strength, and that doesn't mean I don't like it when someone's like, oh yeah, obviously work out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for maybe any of the police officers out there that have maybe let their fitness go, or anybody out there that's let their fitness go and wants to get back on the journey, what advice would you give to them?
So I give the same advice that I give on anything big or big changes you have to do. It's start small, break it up into small steps, and be consistent. It's what I say, keep going, right? Talk about that in my book. Is what we have a tendency to do in law enforcement is, or in any kind of like tactical fitness, is okay. I need to get in shape. I'm going to Google Navy SEAL workout routine. And I'm like, oh, this is what the Navy SEALs do. It's not. It's somebody that, like a trainer that watched a movie, or maybe a Navy SEAL that what he did, but it's always, something wild and crazy. And then for 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks, you're going hard and then you can't keep up. Right. So for me, it's starting small and like, okay, where am I at right now? Truly. So how much am I walking? How many steps am I getting a day? Like, you think you have to go out there and jog miles and run miles to lose weight or to burn fat? Really, walking is just as good. Get your heart rate between, 110, 120, whatever, or 100, 120. And so, okay, how many steps are you getting a day? Okay, let's bump that up a couple thousand. And, like I'll even say like, okay, you can't drink calories. Like that, that's now say that, or if you want to have a cocktail on the weekend or whatever, but you're not drinking soda, milk, or anything like that. And then find a weightlifting routine that works for you, and just like be consistent and stick with it. And don't try not to miss like that. Those people used to ask me, because there was this transformation for me between when I made sergeant and then when I was in K9 as a sergeant. Like, well, what workout do you do? What it says? I just haven't missed a workout really in 6 years. Like,
yeah, you were consistent.
Yeah.
You built habits instead of going hard in the paint and not establishing and building habits. Mm-hmm. And consistency allows you to, you can go have a cocktail, you can have the pizza, you can have all of these things, because 80% of the time you're consistent, right? It's not about like being, okay, I have to eat healthies all the time. I can't eat pizza. I can't have a burger. I can't do these things because it's going to mess me up. I can only have one cheat meal. Like, when you build habits that are consistent, it allows more flexibility.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. And that's the secret. And, it's finding a workout style that works for you and sticking with it. Yeah. Like what you enjoy. And like a tip that I do is, if I'm really not feeling it, like I didn't sleep at all, but I still want to work out, I'll just do a workout that I enjoy. It's better than not working out. So like arm day or something like shoulders, something I like to do.
Well, and keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who enjoys working out. So my journey is far different from what you just explained. You genuinely enjoy working out.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like something that you like to do. I don't. And I've been working out for a long time. And
since before I knew you.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I hate it every day. I hate it every time. There has never been one time where I'm like, I really loved that workout. Never once. I hate it. I don't, maybe that's a me problem. I don't know. But I have never gotten to a point where I'm just like, wow, I really enjoy working out. I hate it. I dread it. Don't ever want to do it. I feel good after.
I was just going to ask, I'm like, that's a lot to unpack. How do you feel? How do you feel afterwards?
I feel good after, But honestly, for me, yeah, it was, I had 3 kids, never worked out, never did anything, gained 75 pounds with each of them. I know I looked like a different human. But then, I got divorced and knew that I needed to get healthy for my kids. And I actually had a friend that because I was poor single mom, that sponsored me to be able to have a personal trainer. And so I had a personal trainer for, I think I was with him for 4 years, which was great. And then COVID happened, and then I kind of, he couldn't train anymore at the gym. So then I don't know about you, but I do know about you. Speaking to people on the podcast, I think a lot of us had a Rumspringer during COVID. I mean, I think a lot of us thought that the world was going to end. So there was maybe a lot of alcohol for people, not a lot of working out, a lot of pandemonium. Yeah. A lot of that. And so I lost everything that I was doing. I mean, I just completely, all of that was gone. And so when I got together with you, I was not working out, not doing anything. And then you started cooking for me. And your cooking was like your dad's cooking. And so I put on some LBs, and I was happy, but I put on some LBs.
My dad's cooking about Half-Baked Harvest.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's the website for food.
But anyways, nutrition's for another day. Yeah. But I got to a point where I just was like, okay, this is completely not sustainable anymore. And I started looking into macros, and I found a macro coach who, again, helped me with my nutrition, but she also helped me find what the workout that I currently do. And this is a female-based, her name is Ruth. If you look her up on Instagram, it's Ruth _ the letter M power, like empower, but without the E. And so she does what's called mesocycles. And so they're either 4 or 6 weeks cycles, and so it changes, and it's weightlifting. And I had done weightlifting with my trainer, but this is what I've stuck with. I mean, the fact that I work out at home, old me could never. No. So there is something to be said about finding something, I wouldn't say that I love, but something that I will be consistent with. And so her programs, like I said, they're constantly changing. I've built more muscle in the last year and a half that I've done this program than I ever have in my whole life, like even when I was with a personal trainer. So for me, my fitness journey has been a lot of mindset. It's been learning that I can be consistent, that I can be disciplined in doing things that I don't like to do. And and it's not just for aesthetics. Like, yes, that's important. But for me, it's for the ability to help you carry heavy furniture. You don't have to call a friend to do that.
Super handy. Right? I love it. It's very convenient.
We moved a couch up our stairs that my brother, he was dropping off the couch. Josh was at work at the time. My brother gets here, and I was like, do you want to move that upstairs? He's like, oh, let's just wait for Josh. And I was like, okay. And then Josh got home, and me and Josh proceeded to move the couch up the stairs because my brother couldn't do it. Yeah. He will kill me. Yeah. But I'm not saying which brother it is. So he will kill me for telling that story. But I have the ability to help you move heavy stuff. I have the ability to help the kids when you're not here, move or lift heavy things. I do feel proud of myself when I'm done. I do feel proud of the changes that I've made in my body. But mostly I feel proud that I am being consistent and keeping promises to myself, because that does give me the confidence. Old me could never because I used to work out at a public gym. Old me could never, I always felt so intimidated. I would never try new machines. I would never do any of that. I would work out in the women's gym because I didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. Me now, I could walk into any gym. I could go to a machine that I don't know and I could figure it out because I have the confidence of sticking with something, knowing what I'm doing at this point, but I had to stick with it for long enough on my own to figure it out. And I just, that's the biggest thing and we're going to talk about her in another episode, do a whole episode on nutrition, but that's what the number one thing that I've learned from my nutrition coach is in nutrition and fitness and life and anything. I mean, we try to teach our kids all the time, building consistent habits, starting small and doing small things, which lead into bigger things and bigger things. Now I walk over 8,000 steps a day, and it's just, that is a habit I built that I don't even break on vacation because sometimes I do, but it's because it's part of who I am now.
Yep.
And so if working out, if fitness, if getting healthy, if all of that feels overwhelming, then because it is, then start with small habits that turn into who you are. And like you said, that doesn't mean doing a Navy SEAL workout. Maybe that means starting with steps. Maybe that means starting with an at-home workout program. Maybe that means, I don't know, just something smaller.
No, I agree. It is down to that consistency. Also, how great is it having a home gym?
I love it.
Yeah. The only bad thing is when you have to set up because we don't have a full machines or anything like that. But well, I think that wraps up our fitness episode. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you liked it, please leave a review, subscribe, send it to a friend, and thank you for spending time with us today.